Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today I am hearing the band Heilung for the first time. Heilung is an experimental folk music band made up of members from Denmark, Norway, and Germany. I was also told that I might be hearing some Celtic throat singing today, so I'm not sure what to expect, but we are going to get straight into it. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. I have so many thoughts. I love the layering that we got at the beginning for so many reasons. I think the biggest one is especially when you don't know a group and you don't know what instruments they're using, especially when they're not seen as frequently as others today, it's nice to be able to just watch and take in what they're doing and let that register before the next person starts playing. I could feel my eyes just sort of glaze over for a moment because it was so mesmerizing and so calming, and I had to snap out of it because I wasn't sure when the singing was going to start. It was just so relaxing. Oh, I loved that. I'm also incredibly impressed that this vocalist is doing this very consistent tapping. Obviously, she's doing it in time, she's doing it to the beat, but to have to make such precise movements over and over and over, and like having your arms extended in that way, it really, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it takes an incredible amount of focus to do something so simple, but to do it well and so consistently. And yeah, it's just, I was very impressed by her doing that. And then, of course, we hear all these other, sounds coming through, and then she starts singing. And right off the bat, it's such a beautiful, warm tone. It feels very, very natural. We do a lot of things to our voices today to achieve certain sounds, certain volumes, certain ranges. And so hearing someone just sort of dial it in, and she's not spanning a huge range yet. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's just this really lovely simplicity in her sound, but it feels very powerful and very grounded. I'm going to back it up not too much. Here we go. Like, even just there, we get this gorgeous head voice. It has a lot of ping in it, but it still has some breathiness, almost like its own instrument, like its own sort of whistle. And then she dipped right back into a chest dominant mix. So we're getting range, but it's not this huge range. It feels like a very natural place in her voice. That's beautiful, especially when she did that. I guess I'm not sure what to call it in this particular style of music, but we're getting more of that chest voice and a chest dominant mix as well, but we're not hearing a lot of vibrato, so you can kind of hear that those muscles pressing and just that airflow. It just feels so consistent and a little bit forceful. And so let me play it again. I'm at a loss for words. I'm really enjoying this. I don't know the language, but allowing just a very, I keep saying natural, I'm sorry, natural approach to pronunciation. When she said that E vowel, she wasn't afraid to spread, to create brightness, to pull that forward, to use nasal resonance. And that, in contrast to some of the other sounds she made previously, it really stands out. But by embracing that natural approach, like this is just how you say the word, instead of trying to fit a word into a certain alignment, I think is also giving us that simplicity and that really natural, I'm gonna need a thesaurus. But yes, that very natural sound, that natural approach. Okay, I'm gonna try and not say that anymore. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize he was the one singing in falsetto. Here we go. Let me back it up.
In your eyes, my new age has just begun. Sword is soft, the fire of the furnace. It hungers to be hit and wants to have 100 sisters. In the coldest state of their existence, they may dance the maddest in the morass of the red rain. Beloved brother, enemy, I sing my soul song for you, the lullaby of obliteration. So I can wake up with a smile, bliss in my heart and bliss in my heart, bliss in my heart.
I was not expecting that. Is that, you'll have to let me know if that is Celtic throat singing. I'm gonna do some research after this, don't worry. But if you guys have more info to leave in the comments, please do. I'm trying to physically make the sound without making it audible, just so I can sort of feel where that sits. I mean, talk about vocal texture. This is beautiful. I really love that we almost had sort of a duet. It felt like there was reverb or some sort of echo when it was really two people trying to achieve a similar sound, but it wasn't going to be the exact same sound, which is why it felt like there was this added effect to it. I'm gonna back it up just a little bit, just to hear some more of that. It is so interesting. Hold on.
To leave me and my beloved ones in peace. But you only understand the language of the soul. Let the blade be the talker. So my song shall become iron.
It sounds like it's further back in the throat, but it has so much brightness and this sort of edge to it, which is why I feel like there's a lot of, whether it's nasal resonance or just forward placement involved here. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's such an interesting sound.
To leave me and my beloved ones in peace. But you only understand the language of the soul. Let the blade be the talker. So
now that it sounded more like oh golly, I'm having a hard time verbalizing this. It sounded like the latter texture would require less trading because it seemed like there was a lot, it was controlled more by air than by like the muscle movement and, you know, whatever was happening in the larynx. I don't know. I am definitely not trained in this at all, so this is just what I'm hearing.
I want to tell you to leave me and my beloved ones in
like that is, it's got almost like this drone quality to it.
So what if I want to tell you to leave me and my beloved ones in peace? But you only understand the language of the soul. I let the play be the talker, so my tongue shall.
That felt a lot wider and a lot more forward and higher than the original sound.
Become iron, and words don't might you roar a war, revealing my divine anger's arrows shall strike all action for the good of all. I see my reflection in your eyes. My new age has just begun. Sword is soft, the fire of the furnace. It hungers to be hit and wants to have 100 sisters. In the coldest state of their existence, they may dance the maddest in the morass of the red rain. Beloved brother, enemy, I sing my soul song for you, the lullaby of obliteration. So I can wake up with a smile, bliss in my heart, and bliss in my heart, bliss in my heart. Coexistence, conflict, combat, devastation, regeneration, transformation. That is the best I can do for you. I see a great loom on the horizon. Promises a powerful sun to rise. No fire, no, it will make the old fires of purification, purification. Look like dying embers, 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 look like dying embers.
I love how they brought back the instruments. It felt, oh my goodness. It provoked a very physical response from me, and one where you can't help but just get your body involved. But then to go from that and then have that gorgeous voice come back in, the contrast between the two, both here and also when that initial throat singing started, I loved. I mean, it was night and day, just the difference in sound that we were getting. We'll keep going. Here we go. This gentleman who's doing the falsetto portion here, it looked like, at least in this piece, he was the only one doing both vocal textures. So I'd love to learn more about his role in this group, but also if any of the other vocalists do sort of, traditional singing at any point, or if they only, well, these other two gentlemen that we just saw, if they do any sort of singing, or if it's strictly that, I don't know if it's throat singing, chanting, I don't know what it is exactly. It's cool. Here we go. just want to rewind this just a little bit. If you listen to that throat texture, that sound, that chant, whatever it may be, it is so, I know there's a lot of texture in the vocal itself, but the line is very connected, very smooth, and I love that it stands out, but it also creates this incredible bass line, this sort of drone, even though, yes, he's singing, and I don't know if it's singing. Please, again, whatever info you have, feel free to leave it in the comments, but he's articulating these individual words in a very, very legato way. So we're getting just the streamline of sound underneath all of these instrumentals instead of it feeling choppy or really aspirate or just it doesn't feel percussive. It's surprisingly smooth, and I just think it adds so much to this piece. That was unlike anything I have ever heard before. I will definitely be going back and rewatching, partially because I want to sort of take in all the instruments again. But when I think of the vocal textures that they used, I've absolutely heard snippets of that sound in some of the metal songs that I've heard. I don't know, obviously, if the technique is the same, but to hear it so consistently, and then to hear the variety they were able to include within that one sound, not only with, the vocal pairings, but also their articulation. Yeah, it was very cool. So I'm excited to learn more about this group specifically and sort of their style, their genre, where it originated, so many things. So we're gonna leave it at that today. Thank you guys so much for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.